Hello and welcome to another episode of AWS She Builds Tech Skills. My name is Tamara Gagliardi. I'm a senior solutions architect and your host for today's show. We have a lot to cover in the next hour. We will be talking about Amazon Quick Suite. We'll be showing a real life demo with sample data on how to leverage agents, and we'll walk you through the new interface of Amazon Quick Suite. For that, we have a very special guest, somebody that I've been working with closely throughout the past few years. Priya, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you. We always have our guests introduce themselves, so please, if you can tell us a little more about who you are, what your role at AWS is.
Hey Tamara, thank you for having me. I'm Priya Kakarla. I'm Quick Site Specialist SA at AWS. I've been with AWS little over 3 years, close to 3.5 years. I started as an analytics specialist SA supporting DNB customers, digital native business customers. Now I closely work with healthcare, life science, and then telecom and energy customers as well. In my role, I closely work with our customers, help their understand their current landscape, build their enterprise solutions, and also help them with best practices in building their architectures.
Excellent. Thank you, Priya. And yeah, Priya is an expert behind the scene when it comes to analytics, when it comes to a new service that we recently announced, Amazon Quick Suite. It's an iteration from Amazon Quick Site. So for those that have been working with Quick Site, you'll probably experience new features and capabilities, which today we will be sharing, specifically agents. You'll get to, along our side, build a custom agent and interact with the sample data. With that too, I would love to hear from the audience where you're joining us. If you have experience leveraging Amazon Quick Site or Quick Suite, and just make sure to use the chat to interact with us, ask questions as we go today. We wanted to make it extremely interactive. And with that, Priya, I know that I mentioned Quick Site and Quick Suite. We have an evolution from Amazon Quick Site, and you've been across that evolution. And there's new features that were announced about 3 weeks ago now. So what is your experience on that evolution? Can you share more about some of those features and what we'll be seeing today?
Sure, Tamara. Yes, we as a team closely experienced the journey of a Quick Suite is a significant evolution from QuickSight. From being a business intelligence platform, now it enables gives you the agentic AI features. You have, I'm going to demo some of the nice features that you have now with Amazon Quick Suite. You have like chat agents where you can instantly get answers to the data assets that you have access to, and you have like automate, which helps you build the flows, which are like repetitive processes that you can automate integration with other tools as well. And you have deep research capabilities with Amazon Quick Suite, so it brings you a lot of agentic AI capabilities that empowers you at work using Amazon Quick Suite.
Yes, I've seen it with customers too, like you mentioned, having that ability with no code, be able to build this chat agents that help different type of personas that in the past maybe couldn't have access to the data, or it was very challenging for them to quickly ask in natural language, just plain old language, ask a question, and the agent go behind the scene, finding that information and surfacing that. So we'll have a demo very shortly on what that looks like, how you can interact with the data itself. And we always like to start our demos with a scenario. So I know, Priya, you worked on building this demo. Can you tell us more about what this scenario is and what we're about to experience?
Yes, for sure. So today's demo, we are going to use a HR data set, which is a pictures like, it's a sample data set that we are going to use. And think of a persona. There is a persona like Paulo, who is the HR director, who has access to a lot of data, either unstructured data or it could be structured data, like PDF files. He has access to some of the QuickSight existing dashboards, all of these assets. And we will leverage to see how he would use a custom chat agent to quickly ask some of the natural language questions and quickly get answers combining both structured and unstructured data assets in today's session.
Excellent. I'm excited for this. I think we can all connect with this scenario of looking at data on performance, looking at how we're doing in our career and how we can leverage that data to advance our own career. So I'll be jumping into sharing the screen so that maybe we can start off by walking through the new experience for Quick Suite and the console itself. So what are we seeing right now?
So this is how the Amazon Quick Suite console looks like, Tamra. This is the home page, and I'll quickly walk you through some of the features that we have that you see on the left panel, and also we'll talk about a little bit on the default chat agent, how you can leverage it. Then we can go into the use case itself that we wanted to discuss today. Does it sound okay to you?
Yes, let's jump into it.
Sure. So this is a home page of Amazon Quick Suite. If you see on your left-hand side, this is a home. You do have like chat agents. What are chat agents, right? You can build chat agents default. You have some default chat agents, but you can also customize these chat agents. Let's say you want to create a tone to it. You want to how to answer it, how it looks like, and then you can share these chat agents with your colleagues at enterprise level to have your organization access to this and underlying data assets you can define, and so that you can quickly ask questions with simple natural language and then get answers to your underlying data assets, both structured and unstructured data assets. And then going into the spaces in QuickSight, to think of it as a place where you can organize your data assets, both structured and unstructured data assets, and you can share it and you can collaborate with your other colleagues. That way you are more organized depending upon which department or how you would like to control your data access to others.
This has been a key change as well in terms of having that boundary of where the data resides, that structure, like you mentioned in the past. I've seen a lot of customers leverage CSV files and even JSON files, but then the unstructured data now that they have access to, recordings, videos, any of those capabilities that in the past you were not able to have access to. Now you're able to combine that data and bring it together in a space, as we're sharing here. And with that too, Priya, I know that there's other capabilities that we're seeing on the left-hand side of the panel that in the past we didn't have access to in QuickSight.
Yes, so QuickSight is now as a part of Amazon QuickSuite. You still have all the features of QuickSight, right? If you're an existing QuickSight user, you have your analysis, dashboard scenarios, all of these on the left side under the QuickSight itself. And then going into the, just want to touch upon the quickly on flows and research as well. Flows are something like if you have repetitive tasks that you want to automate, like quickly, step-by-step process, you don't have to type in the same question again and again in the chat agent. Rather, you can have that process, step-by-step process defined in the form of flows. And when it comes to the research agents, right, like with this research, you can create a natural language prompt to create a research document or research article for you, where these research agents go and understand all the underlying data assets for you, and then comes up with a really detailed research document for you, where it also gives you the what are the source citations, where it got the information from, combining your company data if you want to combine with the web search as well. That's the power of research here.
Extremely powerful again on something that in the past might have taken days, weeks, or even months to consolidate all the data, analyze it, curate it, and bring insights from that data. Now with this research agent capability, it's something that you are bringing forward opportunities for the different teams to lower the time that it takes for them to have
Exactly.
insights.
Yeah, like the amount of time it takes, think of like, putting a document together, understanding the data assets. So you can be very productive using these features in Amazon Quick Suite.
Yeah, I've seen it with healthcare and life sciences customers that maybe they have to read a lot of research papers, and on that combined their own research data that scientists are doing, and now that time has been lowered significantly.
Oh yeah, you can even.
Again, I want to encourage everybody seeing us live to use the chat if you have questions on specific sections on the console, we would gladly walk you through some of those. But let's continue on the other options that we're seeing on the left-hand side. And also I'm curious about that new chat capability.
Of course, I'll show you how that works as well. And then the quick automate, like how in flows for the simple process, like simple prompts or commands, you can use flows. But if you have like a complex business process or complex, steps, the flow process that you want to automate, which has integration with other tools or other services or other third-party services, right? You can use automate to automate the complex business processes, and which saves tremendous amount of time for organizations. That's with quick automate. And then integrations. Let's say you want to integrate with Slack, or you want to integrate with Jira, where you want to take some actions after you understand your insights, right? All those functionalities are available as well, with connections in Amazon Quick Suite. So you can have integrations, you can take actions while on staying on this console, but integrating with other third party services.
One of the powerful ones that I've seen and that customers asked for is the Slack integration. Like we're saying, bringing forward that information into Slack so that your end users don't have to be jumping around different interfaces and just staying within something that they're familiar with, but still tapping into the power of Quick Suite and its capabilities across agentic AI, and that's something that we're going to see today too in terms of those agents.
Right.
Talking about agents, I see that you're
Yeah.
slowly going to that section. So
Yes. I'm going to talk about the default chat agent that you have here. So this think of this as your assistant at work. Doesn't have to be anything specific to your work, but I want to see how weather is in Dallas. I'm based of Dallas, by the way. So I'm going to do like a general knowledge, because I don't want it to look at my data or anything. Just a general knowledge question that I want to ask. How is weather in Dallas today? Let's see how what it responds.
I'm curious where everybody else is joining us from too. I'm joining from San Diego. So anybody on this side, nice to see you.
So it did tell me, how the weather looks like in Dallas. It also took, like, I think because of the version that I have typed, it can find out the typos, and then it gave me a different version of Dallas as well. So this is like the default chat agent, Tamra, that you could use for like regular questions. You don't have to, doesn't have to be anything specific to your company or organization, right? And there are some options here. Do you want to enable like web search? Yes. Or do you have a file that you want to augment in specific to the question that you're asking? It could be a CSV file or a PDF. You can upload that file as well. And then again, the flows that I was talking about. If you have a question that you are going to ask every day, you can even automate that process and then have that be available for you. You don't have to repeat the steps again and again. So that's
Excellent. So on top of having it from the data itself that now we're going to jump into, the data within the company, you can also use it more on general knowledge items and questions to augment. I want to acknowledge we have people joining us from all over, Priya. We have people joining us from Florida. We also have people joining from Barcelona. Mario, nice to see you. So thanks again for everybody international over here.
awesome. Glad to hear that. Thank you so much. So next, shall we jump on to the use case?
Yes. So the use case, we keep on talking about agents and how we're going to show you to build your own agent. Agents, the way that I usually describe it is having that companion that is able to do a lot of tasks that in the past you needed to either code it or you needed to have additional resources to do them. I know we talked about research, for example, having, in the case I worked with a lot of healthcare life sciences, like I mentioned, and they might have a number of different researchers having to like read through those content, understand it, summarize it. But now think of an agent as one of your colleagues that it's helping you augment that work that you're doing. And I know that we have, for today's show, Priya, you mentioned custom agents. What are those?
Yes, sure. So before we deep dive into the custom agents, I want to talk about this persona. How before this, right, before the quick speed, how could he got answers, right? Like how this Paulo, the HR director that we were talking about, would always think of, like, would be going to the dashboards. So Paulo would go into this dashboard he has specifically built for employee retention and growth overview. He would come here and he would check how many employees are there by department and by level, how is the promotion, like, actual versus target. And then he also has by level how the promotion is in different departments with active employees, who got promoted in last 3 years and who was not promoted. So this is like a dashboard that Paulo would come and get access to. Along with this dashboard, Paulo also has access to a lot of unstructured data assets. Let's say Paulo has access to a PDF document which talks about how was the reviews of all these employees for last the time that they have worked in this company, any company, right? And then what was their exit pattern, like why did they leave the company, what was the reason, what were their employee scores, how was the rating. So he also has all this information in a PDF document. And Paulo was, like, leveraged, we'll see how Paulo leveraged QuickSuite to combine this dashboard information that he has along with the PDF, the information in the PDF, and he asked a custom chat agent to answer some of his questions. Let's build a custom chat agent quickly. Tamara, I'll show you how quickly you can build it, and you can leverage combining both data structures.
And again, this is sample synthetic data that we came up for this specific demo. What you're seeing as well is, for those that in the past have used QuickSight, you're probably familiar with some of these visuals of how you're able to bring your data and create these visual representations to quickly answer questions. But now we're going to even see augmented and how you can start interacting and asking questions about this data. And like you mentioned, Priya, augmenting it with, in this case, PowerPoint data and other type of unstructured data.
That's right. So let's see. Let's go back to the home page. Okay. And let me get quickly the instruction that I want to prompt to create a custom chat agent. So here is the custom chat agent I'm going to create. So let's create a chat agent. Okay. And here is my instruction to the chat agent. I'm going to create a HR analytics chat agent. I'm going to give it a name. I'm using natural language prompt to create this chat agent. And also I'm going to tell this chat agent to specifically use a space, right? What is space in Amazon QuickSuite? Think of this space. I can even point that to you after, I generate this step. Think of a space where Paulo has created a space where he got both his dashboard and also he uploaded his PDF into a specific space where he could manage and organize the data assets. So he's telling this custom agent to look into this space when answering the questions, right? And then he also said, like, actions within like some APIs, which are also part of this space. And also he also said, like, what are what kind of questions he could be asking and how would the answer has to be. Like he would be asking questions about the retention and what are the employees at risk and what are the suggestions that the agent would give Paulo to take some actionable items. So let's create this.
And while that's happening, another thing I want to emphasize, in the past, what I've seen working with customers, this is something that Polo, in this case, HR director, as you mentioned, if he didn't have experience building coding, he would have to resource to maybe the data team to build a solution to have him surface this. But right now, with just a few clicks, in this case, our persona Polo is able to ask for what he would want built, and the agent goes ahead and starts building that infrastructure and connecting that data. And I'm seeing we came up with the workforce analysis assistant.
Thank you, Tamra, for giving more details over there. Yes, you see, as I clicked on the generate, it created a workforce analytics assistant for us, and the description of that, what you would see when the chat agent pops up for you. And this is just a preview how it would look like, right? And then here, some interesting things to we have to touch upon here is, right, communication style. How would you want your agent communicate to you? Does it has to be, the tone has to be executive, technical, or very creative, right? And you can describe all these instructions to the agent, and then it will answer accordingly, according to our instructions. How would the length, what do you want to be the answer to be, lengthy, short? How would it makes more sense for your organization or for the group of people that you're going to share this agent with? And if you have any documents or files that you want to upload, you can do that as well here. And like I said, right, in my prompt, I asked this specific agent to use a specific space. As I mentioned, my space has both dashboard and also a PDF that has all the feedback of these employees from the previous years. There is a space where I have created to bring in both structured and unstructured data assets, and it could, with my natural language prompt, as I mentioned, to which space to use, it automatically linked to that space. Even if you want to link to the more spaces, like you can go here and have you link to any of the other spaces that you would be interested in for this specific agent. And if you have any specific actions, like say you want to send information to Jira, or you want to send out a Slack channel message, you can bring in all those actions here as well.
That's part of the integrations that you were talking about earlier, right?
Exactly, right. Yeah. So there are a lot of integrations that you can explore depending upon your business use case within Amazon Quick Suite. So this is how our chat agent, you can configure the chat agent. I'm going to click on launch chat agent. And before that, maybe I can also share, if you want to share with your organization, your colleagues, you can also share this chat agent as well.
Excellent. As a reusable asset. While that's building, we do have a question that came from the audience. If we can create, in general, an agent to analyze the company financial performance. So I've seen this as a use case across many different customers, across many industries, given that everybody has financial data and they use that financial data to make decisions on how they're going to operate, on any investments that they might do. The answer is yes. The same way that Priya is now walking us through how you can create an agent, how you would have that space where you have the data that the agent will be interacting with. The way that I see it is you can create a space where you would have all the financial data from reports, 10Ks, analysis on products, whatever might be that it's driving that financial decision, and then build the agent leveraging that data. Anything that you've seen that we can enhance this answer to our audience, Priya? I know that you work with a lot of
Yes.
customers too.
Yeah. Anything, right? Doesn't matter which vertical you work on or which domain you work on, as long as your organization or your team has access to all the data assets that you need, right? And you have placed it in a space accordingly, and you can build these chat agents, and then you can have your space, a chat agent point to the space and have these created to your financial questions. Yeah, it's a very powerful, productivity would increase, and you can take actions on your business instead a lot quicker than before.
And specifically for you, we do have at the end of the show, we're going to share some resources that are very powerful that I think will help you if you want to build your own agent after today's session.
Yes, Tamara, I think we should share those workshops which were built and which are very intuitive, and it will help you step by step process how to come up to speed with Amazon Quick Suite.
If anybody else has other questions, feel free to also post them. We'll be addressing them as we go. So
Yeah.
going back to the agent, you click build, and
So I have
And now what do we
gone
have?
back to the chat agents. I'll just quickly show you, right? Here are the chat agents, right? Here is the one that we have built like 2 minutes back, right? And then when I click on the chat here, it brings me up the chat agent that we just created, the workforce analytics assistant, and it also has the message which we could customize during the generation of this chat agent. And then if you click on this here, right, it is pointing to all the resources that I asked to point into the space. So the space has a dashboard that I created, and also it has like a couple of PDF files that I am interested in understanding for this chat agent to answer me when it is answering the questions, right? All this information. And let me ask a quick question to the chat agent, Tamra. I want to find out, like, as being, representative of Polo, the HR director, Paula was very interested in understanding who could be the top 5 employees that he could lose in next month or so, next month or two, right? So that he can work on the retention strategies, find out how he could help retain those employees. Um,
Excellent.
Give me top 5 employees that could leave the company. Let's see what it responds with.
And again, it's right now leveraging the information that it had from those spaces to, on top of using agentic capabilities to come up with the answer.
Yes.
And we're seeing as it's going through those iterations, what it's looking and how it's processing the data.
That is so true. Again, this is a sample data that we are leveraging here for this demo purpose. We do have like a topic. If you're a QuickSight user, you would know what a topic is. Otherwise, a topic in QuickSight is on top of a data set. You can build a metadata kind of a thing where you can structure, you can define your business terminology when you're using a natural language prompt. It helps you bring in, understand for the agents in a better way. So those are the topics, and also we have, it's also referencing to the dashboards, and also referencing to the PDF document that I have in that space. And by understanding and comprehensively, right, what all the assets it has access to, the agent is responding to me. Yeah, see, awesome. So it
Yeah,
came
and
back
as you're
with,
seeing, it's also building charts
that is
to be able to digest the information.
So if you see, right, let me expand this, Tamra, that way we have better visibility here, okay? So it came back with 5 employee IDs and what are the departments, right? And also it told me like what are the key risk patterns that were identified. So we as uh, the HR director, Paulo, could work on what are the things that the company has to work on to retain the employees. And also it also came back with some recommendations like what are the high priority actions it has they have to take, right? For these 2 employees, they have to immediately have a check-in, have a follow-up call with them, like take some actions and all that. And yeah, and what are some of the retention strategies that they have to follow for these employees. So pretty very intense, that that you cannot just get it with just the structured information. It combines with unstructured data. That's where the power of Amazon Quick Suite stands for.
And going back to the use case earlier, somebody brought up a question, and thank you for bringing up that question on financial. The same steps that Priya took here, you would be able to ask, for example, what are the next 5 products that we might want to like invest on, depending on the type of data that you have in that space, right? But you would also be able to ask about like financials if the data set were to be financial information on what are strategies to further develop a product, or where does the company need to maybe lower their investments and reinvest in another strategy. So very similar scenario, different data sets, but you can still build those agents as well.
Oh, yeah. We also have something called scenarios. I don't want to deviate from the topic that we have planned for today, but scenarios in Quick Suite also very powerful. If you have like what if functionality, what if questions, right? What if my if these factors change? How would I want to um, how would you want to increase or decrease certain factors uh, impacting your business, right? All those can be achieved with scenarios as well.
Yeah, scenarios is super powerful, also powered by AI, and being able to synthesize a lot of the data that you have, make sense of it. We also have another question coming in on how to connect the existing Amazon QuickSight dashboard to Quick Suite to create the agents. Can you elaborate a little more about that? I know that we had users that already were QuickSight users.
I can touch upon that if it's okay. If I'll just collapse this for a minute, I'll show you how you can do that quickly here. Let's say I was talking about spaces, right? I have a space here. Let's go to the space, right? What you can do is you can, if you, let's say you have some dashboards. I have employee retention and growth overview dashboard that Paulo was using in this scenario, like in this demo. You can bring in those dashboards into the space. How you would do that is you click on the add knowledge and you click on the dashboards. So when you click on the dashboards, it brings you access to all the dashboard that you specifically have access to. Again, these resources you need to have access, the underlying resources for you to ask a question to the chat agent. So when you click on the dashboards, you'll get a list of dashboards that you have access to, and you can pick and choose which dashboard you want to bring in into the space. So that's how you would add a dashboard to the space, and then to the chat agent, you are specifically telling, you can link which specific space that your chat agent has to refer to. For example, in our case, right, the chat agent that we just created, let me go here. My chat agents. This is a chat agent that we created. Let me quickly edit this chat agent. When you edit the chat agent, you can see in the down below. If you scroll all the way down, you can see which knowledge sources this chat agent is pointing to. This is where you can link the spaces to. So you can click on the spaces and you can pick the specific space where you have the dashboards added to. So that's how you bring in the dashboards into space, and then you link with your chat agents in Amazon Quick Suite. Hope that answered the question.
And yeah, that answers. And I think for also those customers that already were leveraging Amazon QuickSight, now when you go to through the console to QuickSight, you'll be taken to Quick Suite, which has those additional capabilities. Excellent. Okay, so we deviated a little bit. I'm happy to bring in further questions as people have them. I know you collapsed can you show us if you collapse and then
Yeah,
how you
sure.
like
Oh yeah, I can do that.
re-access the
So
chat?
the chat agent is always available on the right, right? You might, if you have access to more than one type of chat agent, you can always go here and pick which agent you are chatting with, right? I have access to AQS Demo SaaS Sales Revenue Agent and also this agent. So some people can have in an organization definitely can have more than access to one chat specific agent, and each of these chat agents are referenced into the specific space that it is has to look for the data assets, both structured and unstructured. So I am looking at a workforce analytic assistant right now, and then here is a small way where you can expand your chat agent or you can collapse your chat agent.
Or you can completely close it too and then
Yes, you can
access it.
completely close it as well. So here is a small icon on the top where you can click on, and then it opens up this, and then you can pick and choose which chat agent you're chatting with, and you can also ensure which specific space it's pointing to and what are the resources that are available. And even if you want to enable web search along with the data that you have in your organization, you can do that as well, using the web search. Or if you have like additional files that is on your desktop that you wanted to augment, right, which is not in your space, but you have some ideas. Let's say I have some ideas how I can retain these employees, which is not part of the organization, but I want to understand how that works. I can attach a file here and then ask further questions to the agent saying that, hey, can you tell me how my ideas would help retain these employees? So you can do that.
That's very powerful as part of experimentation. I know sometimes when we're building and curating data sets in enterprise corporations, you have to have that curated, but sometimes you're trying to maybe try out something new and see how it works and then bring it into the data set itself. I did get feedback from customers on how they like having access to the view of the dashboard or the space itself, and then on the right-hand side, quick access to that chat.
That's right. Yep. What else? So we can have a follow-up questions here, and even if you want to like bring in like if you want to take some actions from here, you can say like, hey, you can ask agent to create a Jira action, or you can ask to send a Slack message to your to your colleagues, or say, let's say you want to say, hey, here are the five top employees that we need to pay attention to. Can you create a Slack message and have someone to create a meeting invite to them? You can do all those actions right from here.
Excellent. I know that we had a question too. My understanding in terms of diagrams, that would probably be if it's a visual representation of the data itself. With QuickSight, that's one of the powers of business intelligence, being able to build that visual representation like Bria was showing earlier on that dashboard, either if it's a pie chart, bar chart, whichever type of chart might better represent that data. Can you elaborate a little more about that, Priya?
Yes, it can generate visuals for you. Let's say, right, visuals.
Power of live demos. We'll see.
Yeah, I will show the power. So um, do you have any questions, Samra, while we wait for the assistant to respond? Anything that I can answer for you?
Well, yes. I know that you show there the ability of being able to loop through the different chat agents. And again, you would be able to share the chat agent as long as the person does have access to the data set. That's something else I wanted to call out, because if the person you're sharing the chat agent with does not have access to that space or the data, that's something that we also are very mindful of only the people that have access to the data sets that are able to leverage those agents. So I know it did come up with, it's
Yes.
still going through the iteration.
Processing. See, yeah, it can create. So let's say for these employees, it was telling me, right, what was the risk score of each of these employee. It came back, and that's pretty awesome. So I understand, what was the risk score for these employees. And then it also created like, how was the satisfaction score versus the engagement score for these five employees.
That's something very useful. In the past, you would have to take
Yes.
a lot of manual steps, and it's giving you different options depending on the type of representation that you would want to leverage, or what would resonate more with that audience, right?
Understood. Yeah, see this, it gives a bubble chart of how many years at company and how their risk score pattern is depending upon the number of years they have spent in the company. I'm also going to touch upon the previous question that you asked me about the having access to the data asset behind, right? Just having access to the chat agent is not good enough, because you need to ensure, let's say I'm sharing with Tamra the chat agent that I generated or created. Tamra should also have access to the space that I created and the underlying assets that are available in that space. So, because security and having access right things to the right people is very important in organization. It is our responsibility to ensure who has access to what, So if I grant access to Tamra only to that space and underlying data assets that are in that space, only then when she can leverage the chat agent, and then when she asks a question, the chat agent knows, okay, it's Tamra and Tamra has access to this space and she can access the assets inside this space. And that's when the agent would respond to you, Tamra.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Priya. Yes, we can't emphasize enough on that's a question that always comes up. How do I ensure that the data is only accessible to those that should be having access to that data, especially in a scenario like this, like you're showing right now, sensitive information on human resources. I know that we still have some time, and one of the items that you mentioned, Priya, helps a lot customers. It's that automation workflow.
Yes.
Maybe we'll briefly touch on that because I think that's another extremely powerful feature within Quick Suite. And yeah, I know that you're sharing now flows. If we can have a quick overview.
So let's say you have repetitive tasks, right? And you are doing, let's say Paulo comes every morning, he has a chat agent, some repetitive questions. Tell me, how is the onboarding process for my new employees? What are the key steps that we have to take, right? What are the things that managers have to be responsible for? If we are doing that every day, we can automate those steps and have those questions in the form of a flow. So I have this div flow that I have generated and created, right? I have it on a machine. So let's say if I create on that flow, right, you can have any of the question that you want to ask, and so that you don't have to do those repetitive follow-up questions. Let's say you have three follow-up questions that you ask your chat agent. Rather having that questions in the chat, you can have that in the form of a flow, and with simple natural language prompt, again Tamra, no underlying coding or anything is needed here for the flows. With simple natural language, I was able to create this flow. And let me bring up like one question so that we can demonstrate here. Okay. um, so
Excellent. Well, while you do that, that's another, the power of leveraging this agents and also in this case flows to automate steps that are going to save you time, are going to save your organization time. So in terms of operational efficiency, that's something else that we see extremely valuable for customers, and being able to leverage, in this case, flows to lower the time that it takes a specific task and then be more productive. So in terms of productivity efficiency, that's another focus as well.
absolutely, yeah. It will help you from asking repetitive questions again and again. Rather have the flow built one time and save your time. And then here, let's say for example in this flow, right, you can have a human in loop, like enter an onboarding question that you might have, right? And then it just reviews a comprehensive onboarding answer for you, and then some of the actionable onboarding guidelines that you would have to take, right? So a simple question I'm asking here: what is the responsibility of new hires and their managers on the first day, right? Let me start this. And now I don't have to ask the repetitive questions that I would have asked like the previous day. Now that I have my flow ready, it knows what follow-up questions I might have, and it just consolidates everything and then responds to me in my chat agent on the right hand side. Just if you just give it a few minutes, it will give me the actionable items as well, like what actions I should be taking to onboard the new employees. So you can
And this
start
is
with any question, right? Like you can start with any question. It doesn't has to be onboarding. It could be like, what are the trainings that they have to take as new employees when they onboard, or what is the vacation policy for if things keep changing. What is the vacation policy, and how do you communicate that actionable way to your new employees?
This is something I see too, not only at the organization, but even organizations. We all, if we change roles within teams or within the organization, there's going to be steps that we need to follow as a new member of that organization. So I see this extremely powerful to within teams to have a clear outline as they hire somebody new into the team. What are those steps so that, again, it shortens the time for somebody to be efficient at their job, to have a good onboarding experience. This is just one scenario within human resources, but you can input whichever other similar scenario for flows as well.
Yes. So now you can see, like, first week, what should be the action plans, and then, the day one, what first day of what actions they have to take, like welcome session, setup, security, the meet your manager, and all these actionable items can be, is all documented for you, and all you have to do is you have a copy option here. You want to send it in an email, or if you have integration with Slack, you can send this in a Slack, or you can open a Jira ticket, have someone take care of these things for you. um, Communicate
And
these things to the new employees.
And this would be also data, as you're mentioning, that it's tied into the corporate organization. So if you have, I know on our end, we usually have to watch a lot of videos and we have to follow specific onboarding tasks. So all this data on the recommendations would be coming from data that it's already available within your organization.
That is true. Whatever, even in the flows, right, you have to specifically say like which space it is pointing to. For example, here, right, it would know where your underlying data assets are. So it would read through those documents. Let's say policies keep changing, onboarding process keeps changing. So as long as you have up to date documents in the space that this flow is pointing to, you should be able to get the latest information.
Excellent. Okay. And I do want to, there were a couple of questions in terms of features or how to understand pricing within Quick Suite. All that information that we have available publicly at aws.amazon.com /Quick Suite. There you'll be able to find more information about the pricing, frequently asked questions, and additional things that at the moment, just in terms of time, we don't have enough time to dive deeper into. There's just a lot more to cover, but wanted to emphasize also quick start information on Quick Suite is available at our aws.amazon.com /Quick Suite site.
Yes.
If we go back to the main page or the welcome site. So we cover the chat agents, we covered spaces, flows, and I know that you mentioned
Yeah.
research agent.
We can
Can you
quickly
very
comment on
briefly
research
disclose?
agents as well, right? I
Yes.
created a research, I asked research agent to create a document for me this morning. I was able to give a simple natural language prompt, and, it would come up with like a series of template, like, hey, is this the topics that you would like to cover, right? And I can always augment it, like say, hey, I want to add this information and more information to it. So optimizing remote work framework, what are the best practices for a mid-sized tech companies in 2025? I want to understand what are the latest trends happening in the market, along with the data that I have, policies that I have for this sample data, for this HR data demo, right? And it took all the information that I have along with the web search, and it was able to create a very detailed document for me. How is the market right now, like how a mid-sized technology companies are operating, what are the policies that they are following, what is working, what is not working. And also it tells me like where the source information it has got. For example, if I click on the two here, right, it is telling me that it was able to go into the forbes.com, like because I have enabled the web search. Top 12 industries hiring in 2025, and all of the citations are also mentioned in this detailed document. Tamara, imagine like us being doing this manually, like, how long it would take for you.
Yeah, because as you said, it's combining not only your corporate data, this case fictitious, but also web data, which in the past, I know I would have to go to a browser. I would have probably 15 different tabs. I would have to like download some of those PDF and information, read it, try to understanding. If there was context that I didn't know, I would have to jump back into the web browser to try to understand specific terminology. And now not only it's doing all of those steps that I covered, but on top of that, it's adding a summary and context to it.
Absolutely. See, it will give you all the sources that it has looked through to give you this very detailed document. And I've seen this tremendously being utilized in healthcare life science industry with all the clinical research that they do, and even in other industry verticals as well. So this has been really like very improves your productivity using the research agent.
Excellent. Thank you, Priya. We covered a lot, and I know that you've been also working on making available to others that want to go step by step. Together, you worked on building workshop. So, can you share a little more about the workshop? I'll be providing a link for those that are joining us live or watching also the replay on where you can find the workshop itself. It's a new Amazon Quick Suite workshop. Within communities, you can also find it community.amazonquicksite.com. But Priya, tell us more about this workshop and what can people learn from it?
Absolutely, Tamra. So this is a workshop our colleagues and I we have put together uh, to help our customers learn about Amazon Quick Suite in their own speed. Okay, so you will have the link, like Tamra said, she's going to post the link. You can start with the getting started. Like you have two ways. If you're doing it in your own self-paced setup, you can follow the instructions here. Like it is a very detailed workshop, I would say. Like you have step-by-step instructions. As long as you have your AWS account, um, you can follow through these instructions, and then you can help build a chat agent, you can build a space, you can build a dashboard in QuickSight. So all the features that Amazon Quick Suite supports are here, and some of, like automate, we are working on that will also be added as a part of this workshop in future. But right now you can start with what is Amazon Quick Suite, what are the key capabilities of it, and then what is a unified chat, the default chat agent that we have seen. And again, this workshop also uses the same data set that we have discussed in today's session, the HR data set, and Paulo as the persona. So it's very something that you can relate to, or something you can easily understand. So you will see a lot of like small short videos which will help you how to navigate through the console and how to use this workshop and upskill yourself.
This is very useful and insightful. And I know being able to have access to it and walking step by step. In the last almost hour, we went through a lot of content, and sometimes it takes a little time to just review it and make it applicable to your use case. So as you mentioned, this is sample data, but you can follow the same steps with data that's available within your organization, your company, to start leveraging the data and empowering by agents and agentic capability.
That's right, Tamara. Just one thing I want to touch upon in this workshop is you also have the sample data available that I have used in today's demo. You also have access to it. All you have to do is click on this, and it will download a zip file for you, where you can unzip it, and then you have all these different files that are available for you to use for this workshop. And then you can empower yourself. Going through the steps, creating a space, research agent, or creating an action or a flow in this workshop.
Excellent. I think in terms of what we wanted to share for today's session, that covers in-depth agents, and we covered also flows. Priya, anything that you want to share on how others can continue to grow within analytics, within QuickSight, Quick Suite,
Yeah,
or any closing remarks for our audience?
thank you. I just want to thank you, Tamra, for this opportunity. it's always fun to work with you, and especially representing Amazon Quick Suite is awesome because we live, breathe, Amazon Quick Suite day to day at work. So, and we have seen a great transformation here. So, and also there is Quick Suite, a Quick Site community that's available out there. I can ask Tamara to share the link where you can also post questions, and we do have our essays and a big group of experts in Quick Suite who answers the questions. So if you have any questions, don't hold back. Always feel free to post it in the community. That's the best way to learn and upskill yourself.
Yes, somebody's asking, can you please share the community link? So if you go to community.amazonquicksite.com, that's where you'll have access to the community and be able to interact, as Priya was mentioning, ask questions. On top of that, not only the workshop that Priya was sharing, but there's other content material where you're able to review videos and frequently ask questions as well. So by going to community.amazonquicksite.com, that's how you will have access to it.
Yeah, this is the one. So Tamra can post the link, and here is the community. Like, you can ask questions. You have a lot of learning series documents available. It's a a very helpful place where you can be for to upskill yourself. Or if you have any questions in day to day work, you can post it here. You have experts, look through these questions and answer.
Yeah, the Q&A is one of the ones that usually I go and seek to understand what are trends of people that are asking different questions and just learn. It's kind of a quick way for me to digest what's latest and maybe what other features are people using.
That is true. Yeah.
Excellent. With that, Priya, I wanted to thank you for jumping on board on today's session, sharing with us a demo and inspiring others on how to use Amazon Quick Suite. It's always a pleasure to work with you. And also wanted to thank the audience for all the questions, for staying with us. Hopefully we'll hear or see you post questions on the community as you go along on your Quick Suite journey. Anything else that you wanted to say, Priya, before we close today's
But thank you for all the audience who joined today's session, and hope you have a happy journey with learning Amazon Quick Suite. And always please post your questions. Happy to answer them. Thank you all. Thank you, Tamra, for your time.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful day.